Good morning. My name is Stephen James and I'm Block Energy's Geoscience Manager. I've worked on a range of naturally fractured reservoirs in areas including the UK's Atlantic margin, the North Sea, North Africa, the Middle East and China that together have enabled me to build up a portfolio of expertise in their appraisal and development. I'm speaking to you this morning to extend the content and add a little more colour to our last video. All of Block Energy's Georgian assets have one geological characteristic in common. They are naturally fractured reservoirs. This type of reservoir is extremely heterogeneous, and analysis of 3D seismic calibrated by well data is key to understanding their performance. This photograph of the Middle Eocene in a quarry in Tbilisi, several kilometres from West Rustavi, illustrates such heterogeneity. There are two families of intersecting fractures coloured red and green. They do not extend the full height of the quarry face because they terminate at the mud-rich layers A and B. Additional heterogeneity results from fractures clustering to form corridors. It is easy to see why horizontal or inclined wells will provide more optimal reservoir drainage than vertical wells. The focus of this presentation is the wells drilled by Block in the West Rustavi field and the forthcoming JKT1 sidetrack well to be drilled in the Kertsinisi field. The West Rustavi and Kertsinisi fields are part of the same geological structure. They just have different names on either side of the 11B and 11F licence boundary. Block Energy has now drilled 3 horizontal wells and acquired 3D seismic, which have greatly improved our understanding of the reservoir. It is these technologies, together with borehole imaging, that are key to exploiting the future potential of the naturally fractured reservoirs in all of Block Energy's Georgian assets. The first 2 wells, WR16AZ and WR38Z, were horizontal sidetracks drilled from Soviet-era wells that had been suspended. Both horizontal wells were drilled before the 3D seismic was acquired. Subsequently, the 3D seismic has showed us that WR16AZ was drilled in a structurally complex area of the field. Drilling mud losses and the following production test showed that the well had successfully proved the presence of an extensive productive natural fracture network. However, production from this well has been very variable, reflecting the local complexity of the reservoir. WR38Z drilled a less complex area, as indicated by the 3D seismic, and production from this well has been relatively stable. Drilling mud losses and production testing again proved the presence of a productive natural fracture network. As both wells were sidetracked from Soviet-era wells, well integrity issues were considered to have compromised their performance. The third well, WRB1A, was a new well drilled in order to avoid such integrity issues and aimed to replicate the success of WR38Z, but further to the west and in an updip position. We now believe that the lack of continuous drilling mud loss and sparse but regularly spaced gas shows in WRB1 and B1A indicate that the well encountered a relatively low density natural fracture network that has resulted in a lower than predicted production rate. Interrogation of the 3D seismic using different algorithms allows us to identify and map vertical features or fault fracture lineations within the reservoir. They typically occur where expected in anticlinal areas with high curvatures. The field-wide map of these features will provide the basis for high-grading future development well locations. The lineations are confirmed to be geologically real as they correspond to significant drilling mud loss events and gas shows in the well data. To be clear, the areas between the lineations are also fractured, as indicated by drilling mud loss, but are of insufficient size to be resolved by the seismic. In planning to drill Block Energy's next well, a sidetrack from the JKT1 well that was drilled in 2011, Block Energy has brought these learnings together to optimally position the well, specifically by calibrating the 3D seismic with the data that has been gathered during drilling and production, applying horizontal well technology and geomechanics to maximize access to the natural fracture network, and optimizing the well trajectory position in real time using the data that will be acquired whilst drilling. There are also specific characteristics of the JKT1 area itself that indicate it to be highly prospective. Firstly, the sidetrack trajectory will penetrate a high density of fault fracture lineations throughout its length, enhancing hydrocarbon flow to the wellbore. Secondly, analysis of the production history of the KRT39 well, which is located around 300 meters from JKT1, suggests that a volume of some 8.5 million barrels of oil was originally present in this area of the reservoir, of which only 470,000 barrels, around 5%, has ever been produced. The JKT1 sidetrack hole will therefore target production of this remaining oil. Thank you for your attention.